Hey everyone! Today we are going to be talking about something so important, how to prevent drowning in your young children. If you are going to be anywhere near the water this summer, whether that is in a splash pool, going to the beach, going to a lake, this is the talk that you are going to need to listen to. I really want you to listen to each point that Maria shares because it is so valuable. Now, if you're new to my channel, don't forget to like and subscribe so you can get regular updates on all that we share about raising young children and supporting their development. If we haven't met already, my name is Holly. I am a pediatric occupational therapist and toddler mom, and I can't wait to get to know you better. So, without further ado, let's dive into that interview. I'm so excited to be introducing you today to Maria Yea to talk all about water safety with our children. What an important topic. Maria is an educated teacher and has a master's in physical activity and health. She works with drowning prevention and education of swim instructors worldwide. She is the co-founder of Your Potential International Swimming Academy, and a children's book author, as well as a mother of two. Maria, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Do you want to tell our audience, before we dive into this topic, which is just so important, a little bit about your love for the water? We can see it so beautifully in the background there, the pool.
Yes.
Why is it so great?
I brought a pool. I brought a pool for you today. Yeah. Now, well, I've been swimming for my entire life. So from when I was, I think, around 5 or 6 weeks, and then for my entire lives. And I've never done competitive swimming, but I've loved swimming from the very first meeting, and I really wanted to pass that on. And then when I started to learn about drowning and how horrible the statistics are with drowning, I was like, there need to be done something about this. And then I met a brilliant woman of, I think it's like 10, 15 years ago. And we ended up starting a business together with the passion for water and the mission of doing something about the drowning statistics. So that is where I am at now.
It's something so important. I think that we all hear about drowning, right? But like, it's one of those things that you don't even want to look at because you're like so scared to even think about it, right?
Yeah, and we can see that when talking to parents and going on social media and doing a lot of campaigns. We can see that so many people see it, but not that many interact, because it's like, oh, I don't really want to face that this can happen. But yeah.
Absolutely. So Maria, could you tell us, like, what do you think is the most important thing that parents need to know about drowning?
The most important, there's so many. I think if we should only keep it to 3 things, and I want to say it first, and then I can dive into it. So the first thing is that drowning really do happen. So that's one thing they need to realize, that it really can happen, and then that nothing can replace them being present. And then that last thing I want to talk about is the difference between swimming and water competence. So if we start with that drowning really do happen, so the numbers are kind of consistent year after year, and we have around 360,000 people around the world dying from drowning, and close to 150,000 of these are children under the age of 15. That is so many lives, and this is only the ones dying from it. So this is when drowning becomes fatal. Then we have so many drownings that are not fatal. So when you don't drown, because drowning doesn't mean dying necessarily. The definition of drowning is to suffocate in fluid. So you can drown and then come out of it with severe brain damage or lung damage, or in the best case, only a fear of water. But there are no statistics of how many drown without dying, but I found a statistic from Florida in America that said for each child dying from drowning, another 5 children need medical attention. So that means that the number should be like 6 times as big, and that's just mind blowing, I think.
Mm.
And even during the pandemic, where people have been locked down for periods, depending on where they're from in the world, the children dying from drowning or drowning in general have been so many more, because they've been home and people don't know what to do, and they've been missing out on training and learning to swim. So I fear what is going to happen now that it is holiday season, at least where I am, and people are going to swim, and we already see in the news. So just as yesterday, a father died when he saved 2 children. So a 47-year-old man died. So, and a 3-year-old girl drowned the other day. So it's just, people or parents need to know this really happens. And so when they realize this, then they can start acting on it and preparing for what to do and how to handle it. So first of all, know that it happens. That's one of the things. And then nothing we can do or nothing we can buy can replace the parents being present. So I have a lot of parents asking me, because we do all of these campaigns, and they come to me and they ask, so I'm going on vacation, so what should I buy for my child to keep them safe? And I say, buy nothing, because you can buy these armbands, that to put on the arms, and that's a no-go. Then you can buy vests, so life jackets that are certified life jackets if you're going on a boat, and we're definitely recommend to do that. But if you're going to the beach or to the pool, no inflatable things and nothing attached to the body, because it's just a false security, both for parents and for the child. And if you are present as a parent, then the risk of an accident to happen is so much smaller. And I know that people say, well, I do look after my child, and I know people do, but it only takes a second. And a second is maybe putting it a bit out of context. I don't know if you say that, but children under the age of 1 can actually drown in seconds, because they do not know that they cannot breathe underwater. So their reaction when they go underwater is they will try to breathe, and they will get the water in their lungs right away. So they can drown in the time it takes for you to go to the toilet or check your phone or move the chair, or so under the age of 1, it's like, don't even take your eyes off them. So I had he's the chief of lifeguards in a part of Denmark, and he said, it sounds very strict, but he said, if you want to go to the beach to relax, leave your children at home, because then they are alive when the day is over. And he's right. We have to look after the children, and if the children cannot handle themselves in the water, then you need to be in the water with them, or they need to only go out knee deep. So
yeah,
being present
I love that you brought this up, because I think that as parents, there's like sometimes this pressure of summer that we have to like create all of these opportunities and fun, and everything has to be like, really summery, and ice creams and beach and water. And also we have like a very strong connotation that when you get to the beach or a pool, that you have your deck chair and your cocktail or whatever it is, that you get your relaxation time. But it can't really be both at the same time. So if you're keen to experience summer with your kids and like really have that fun connection time in the water, which I know you're going to talk about as well, but then great. But if you feel like you need a deck chair, then you know, find a way that you can do that without having to supervise your kids, because you can't do both at the
Yeah,
same time.
exactly. And when I go to the beach, or I often go to a lake with my children. So my children is 6 and almost 3, and I only go for the time that we are in the water, because I know that I cannot be 100% present for a whole day. So until they are able to save themselves and be better in water, then we go for the time that we're going to go in the water, and then we can go home and relax at home. Yeah. So the last thing, and that's actually that leads me into that, because there's a difference in swimming and water competence. Because when we talk about learning to swim, a lot of people that are not from the world of swimming, and actually some people that are too, see swimming as 4 strokes, so 4 competitive strokes, and that's the ones you see the Olympics doing at the Olympics. And what most parents want their children to do is to learn to save themselves. So that doesn't have anything to do with those competitive strokes. That is the water competence. So being competent in water, being able to go underwater and getting out of the water, and getting their head above water. And there's so many different things that they need to learn. And then we can do the competitive strokes afterwards. And I'm all in for doing that when we've done something before that, because that is not, you're not going to butterfly your way through the water when you're going to save yourself.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask you a question about something that you mentioned about the armbands, because I know that many parents probably heard that and they were like, what, isn't that the thing that we're supposed to do? So can you share with us a little bit more about why that's dangerous?
Yeah, so first of all, children can get them off, so they can take them off easily. Second of all, they can fall off. So a lot of children jump in the water, so with the arms up, and then the armbands can get off. They can, the inflatable ones can be punctured. And in open water, you can drift away by the wind or the current. And then when we put them on, or when we go in the water, we want our children to learn to swim. But we do not learn to swim with these on. So it would be like putting, I just recently, I shared a video of my daughter, and I think, I know that there are some other videos around social media with children trying to eat with these on, and it's kind of impossible, and we laugh a bit about that, but it just shows they cannot move probably. So you interfere with them getting to know how their body works in the water, and how the water affects their body, and how they can work with the water. Because, and I have a short story, because I had a swimmer. She was only 2 years old. She could jump from the 1 meter dive board and swim in, and it was 4 meters deep, and she swam in and no problem. Then they were at a holiday for 14 days, and she came back, and I was at the opposite side of the pool, and her mom was at the deck, and the mom knew, well, she can easily do this, because she did that when we were here 14 days ago. The girl goes up and she jumps in, and she does nothing. And the mom starts panicking, and I see it, and I jump in and I get her up, and the child is really scared. And the mom starts crying and saying, oh, what happened? What happened? And when we've gotten her to calm down, I asked her, and I said, can I be honest with you? And she says, yeah, what happened? I don't understand, because she's been in the water for every day on holiday. And I said, yeah, did she wear armbands? And the mom just went quiet, and she was like, yeah. He said, yeah, you taught her to drown. You taught her I don't need to do anything when I'm in the water. And what happened? So nothing severe happened, because she got up like in a few seconds, but it took a year of training before she could do it again, probably, because of those 14 days, and because of the scare she got, because she didn't understand what happened. Because a 2-year-old don't know, okay, so you put something on my arms that are lighter than water, that will make my buoyancy, so I go up in the water. She just thinks, okay, when I jump in the water, I just stay afloat, and I don't need to do anything. So
Wow.
I think, I know it's a bit strict to say, but what we do when we put those on the children is we teach them to drown.
Mm-hmm.
And I know it's not a popular opinion because they're used so many places and by so many parents, and they're sold by many companies. So I know it's not a popular opinion, but you cannot teach your child to swim with those on, just as you cannot teach them motor development skills if you wrap them in stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's really true though. If you ever have tried to teach a child to swim, anyone that's listening, you know, the bum has to go up, right? You don't swim just by like being a tree. There is
No.
like a motor dynamic that works when you start swimming. And I think that the story just so illustrates this, because our children also operate, of course, they operate on thinking, like understanding how the environment works, but they also work on muscle memory. So if you've like been
Yeah.
trained in this muscle memory of like just float, you know, that's the thing that kicks in when you need it.
Yeah. So it would be just like if learning to walk, but with roller blades on, so with wheel on underneath, and then taking the wheels off and expecting the child to be able to walk. So you just can't learn with those on and then thinking they could do it. And for most children, they don't drown when they are near water. So I think it's 62% of children drown when they're not supposed to be near the water. So that means when they don't have the safety of anything. So if they learn to swim with these on, and then they fall in the water without, then they think, oh, I shouldn't do anything, so I can just do nothing, and then yeah, it
Wow.
goes wrong. Yeah.
That was such a good illustration. Something that I did want to ask you as well is, we spoke a bit about like pools and the beach and lakes and open water, but what about little splash pools, like shallow water drowning?
Yeah. So small children, they are not able to stand up. So to get up from lying. So if they fall, first of all, they don't know, okay, I should just turn myself over. Then I would get up. So the second thing is, we also have adult people drowning where they are actually able to reach the bottom, because when you start panicking, you're not rational, and you wouldn't just think, okay, I should just get up. Then you are panicking and you can't do anything. So if you have small children or children that are not water competent, then even shallow water can be dangerous. And I don't have a shallow pool in my backyard, because if you cannot fence it so the child cannot get in, then you have to keep an eye out constantly, or you have to empty it every night.
Yeah, that's great to know. I think that's one of the things that often surprises parents, is that they think that when it's really shallow, there's no risk.
Yeah.
But there definitely is.
I read recent statistics from also from America, actually, where you can see where, so not only how many children drowned, but also the age and where they drowned. And I was like, my eyes were tearing up, because we even had, so it said 10 months old bathtub. So a mom or dad or grandparent or something thought that, okay, they're sitting in the bathtub, I can just go out and come back, and then that's just, we can't blame parents, because nobody wants this to happen. It's just that if you don't know, then how should you know what to do or what not to do? So that is why it's such important stuff to learn and know. Again, we're back to the one of the important things: know that this happens. Then you can start educating yourself.
Absolutely. So what do you think are like the biggest steps that parents could take to prevent drowning with their children?
Yeah. So actually, so my partner in the firm and I, we developed this self-saving ladder, we call it, and that is 15 steps that you need to go through and you need to master to be water competent. And what we would recommend and emphasize that parents would start with is that step number one is know the water, and that is to to know how deep is the water, where to get up. So everything that happens before you actually go in the water. So for example, when you go to a harbor or a lake, you talk to the child. So look around. Okay, do you think the water is cold? Should we feel it? Okay, that's very cold. How deep do you think it is? Looking at the depth, maybe putting a stick in so you can see, okay, this is actually very deep or it's shallow, and looking where, if I fell in, where could I get up? And also as a parent, if my child fell in and I should get in after him or her, where could I get up with them? Because then you would be so much more safe, and you wouldn't yell at the children for going near the water, because you know, okay, if they should fall in, I can save them easily. Or if there's a lot of current, you would know, okay, I have to keep a grip in them, because this would actually be very dangerous if they fall in. So knowing the water and talking about what's at stake when you're near water, that is a very good start. And if there's lifeguards at the beach, I know they would love if you came and said hello, and said, okay, we are together and we are placing ourselves right here, because then they know, okay, this mom is keeping an eye on those children, and this dad is keeping an eye on those children. And they love to talk about the wind and the weather, and is the current going out or in, and what's at stake at exactly this beach. So what happens before you even go in is one of the steps I think parents should do. And then the second thing is that so many accidents happens near the shore. So 75% of drownings happens close to shore. So if people knew how to get up, it wouldn't happen. So the second thing I would emphasize is learn to get out of the water. So at high edges, at low edges, so just even holding on to the edge, or moving alongside an edge to get to a ladder. So each pool, beach, everything you're at, how to get out. And then in Denmark, there have been a rule about not going more than navel deep in the water. But I would say don't go, if you're not water competent, don't go over knee high, because knee high, then you can reach the bottom with your hands or arms. And if you go deeper, you cannot reach the bottom. And then many people don't know how to get from lying in the water to standing. And then you can drown even as an adult. So knowing how to get from lying in the water to standing in the water, that is also very important knowledge.
Wow, these are fascinating points. I really, they're really concrete. You know, I love this idea also of getting out of the water, because actually, if you think about the beach or the ocean, like it's the hardest part of being in the water is the getting out, because you're kind of pulling against the current. You have to know, like, when the waves go out, then you go out. So you're not just being sucked back in. And the same with climbing out of the pool. It takes a lot of actual coordination and muscle strength to make that movement.
And if you start panicking, then you just can't do anything.
Yeah. And what I wanted to ask you, that rule about like the depth of the water, how does that apply in terms of being inside water when you're holding a child? Like, say, a young child and you're in a swimming pool, or maybe not the beach, maybe like a swimming pool or a flat kind of water.
Yeah. So we would, I would say that holding the child as soon as the child is big enough, and that is around 6 months, they can start holding on to you. So you are a tree in the water. So, and the child is the monkey. So they hold on to you. They decide, when do I need the help? And then they learn, okay, now I hold on to mom, then that means I have something to hold on to, and I'm above the water. If I let go, then I sink. And the easiest place to learn children to be water competent is where they cannot reach the bottom. So right now I'm having intensive swimming lessons for 4 children at the age from 2 to 6, right here in this pool actually. And this is 140, and that I think that is perfect, because the tallest one of the kids is 120. So they cannot reach the bottom, so they need to do something instead of just walking. But teach them to hold on to you and to grab onto you and then be nearby, because that will teach them so much.
Great.
And actually, if I just dive down, these, an aqua noodle. So that is not attached. It is not supposed to be tied around the child, but that they are able to hold on to it or put their arms under. This is a brilliant support when you're in a pool, not in open water, but in pools.
Yeah, I really like that you brought that up, because it also goes back to like your point of teaching the child to like find the way that they can stay afloat. Not just relying on being afloat. I've worked with a lot of kids in water that even that they're petrified to hold that thing because they don't trust it. So if they're in a situation where they don't have something to grab, they don't grab it because they haven't been taught yet that this thing can actually help you. You know, they need that like practicing of how you actually help yourself in the situation.
Yeah, and it's underestimated, just the going in the water. So when you go in the water, you have this tactile stimuli on the entire body. And as an adult, we don't feel it that much, but as a child, you don't. So you know, if you dive in the water, you might go 2, 3, 4 meters down, and then you can feel in your ears it starts with the pressure. And the small child can feel this even in 20, 30 centimeters deep. So they can feel the pressure on the skin. So even getting used to being in the water is just an intense stimulation of the child. So they need to get used to that. And after that, there is some steps you need to take. So we see many parents that want their child to lie on their back in the water because then they can breathe, but if you're not comfortable being in the water, then that will turn on the reptile brain and the fight or flight mode, and it's just a panic, and that's not a good experience to be on the back before you feel safe in the water. So before you can get your head underwater, so the entire head and being underwater, then you should not practice lying on your back.
Yeah, I love that point. And what I wanted to kind of end this conversation with is finding out, you've talked a lot about the importance of being kind of aware of water, aware of, you had a specific word like water conscious, or like that they can be semi-independent.
Yeah, water competent.
Yeah. Competent, yes, that was it. What about swimming? Like, is this something, I mean, obviously it is, but can you tell us why it is so beneficial for children, and kind of at what age children can learn to really swim?
Yeah, so that is not a short answer, but I will try to keep it a bit short. So besides being water competent and being able to save themselves in the water, so what is swimming really? And that is a debate that is going on around the world. And recently I was in a worldwide debate about what really is swimming and what should you be able to do to be able to swim. And even the brightest mind in swimming have not found the right answer yet, because when are you really able to swim? So I would say that you're not really able to say, so I'm able to swim, but I've been in water for 33 years, and I would not, my 6-year-old, he's been in water for 6 years, and I would not watch him. So this I don't want to say what age they can swim, because then if you can't swim at that age, are you wrong then? Or
right.
So it depends when you start swimming.
I suppose my question would be, that like, when do you think you can send your children for some kind of swim lessons, or really like invest in time for swimming?
Yeah. So when the navel is dry. So when the child is 5 to 6 weeks old, start swimming there, because Okay, we say that swimming is the only sport that you can die from not mastering. And this is that so we are lucky that parents send their children swimming because they're frightened that they should drown. But there are so many other aspects of swimming that are so beneficial. So from your navel is dry at 5 to 6 weeks old, you can get this intense stimuli. So it helps and it supports reflex integration and sensory integration and the overall motor development in a way that you can't get from any other activity. And there are actually some research that is from Australia with 11,000 children in a group, and then another group of 11,000 children that were not swimming. And the group swimming at the age of 0 to 5 years old, they were actually doing so much better academically. So with reading, learning math, and overall behavioral issues. So, and this is due to the reflex integration and the sensory integration being supported if you know how to teach that in the swim classes. So there are so many, and then we have the entire aspect at the relations between mom and the child or dad and the child, because, and now I might sound a bit strict, but being not in water, you're able to, oh, I need to take pictures of it or check the phone or other people. But in the water, you just have a bond and you're just the two of you, maybe someone else, but you really need to be just you and the child in the water. So the connection can really be amazing through the water, and experiencing a child that goes from not being able to get their head underwater and then all of a sudden being able to move around in the water. That is just like watching your child learn how to walk. And yeah, you're a parent, you know how proud a parent can be when the child learns to walk. And that is the same experience you can get from being in water with your child and being there for the entire session or the entire way and journey of learning to swim. So there are so many aspects of swimming that are just so beneficial. So I would say everyone, if you haven't gone already, join a swim lesson or go learn to swim yourselves if you know what to do as a parent, and just go and be in the water, because yeah.
It's amazing. Yeah, I just I'm like just so excited hearing what you're saying. This has definitely been my experience of doing therapy within water as well, is that the sensory exposure and the relationship that is built through water is like there's no other situation that you can create that environment. It's just it's something so magical. So I hope everybody that's listening to us today has a wonderful summer diving in the water safely, and really connecting with their children during that time. Maria, do you want to tell our audience, we'll have all of your links below, but do you want to tell them a little bit more about where they can find you, and learn more about everything that you do, swimming and drowning prevention?
Yeah, so we have a Facebook site, and we have an international one, and we actually have a group. And I think the link you have is for the site, but we post from the group in on the site too, so you can find the group. But that is for parents and grandparents wanting to know something about this, and we make tips and tricks and advice on water safety and what to do in the water and small games and advices in general. So you can find us in that group, and you're welcome to join, and you're welcome to send us questions, and we will happily answer. And then we have actually what I just want to show you. If I just have we've written some books for, and I'll just show you one of them. We've written some. Can you see it for the light? I don't think. Like here.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
So this is for actually for parents bringing the swimming home, Remy, and about getting in and out of the water. And one of the we have 4 basics we work with in swimming. So this is about one of them. And in the book, and now I'll just have to find one side where there is, and actually this one has about the armbands. So there's a more knowledge for the parent and QR codes to scan so you can really get the children to relate to a character that does something in the water and talk to the children about the water. And I was teaching breathing today, so blowing bubbles, and one of the books is about blowing bubbles and blowing with the mouth and the nose, and the dad has a dad sense of humor, so he blows bubbles with his butt also, and trying to do that with the children just makes it more relatable for them. And they were like, oh yeah, then we have to do the small bubbles, and we were looking under the water doing the bubbles with each other and at the same time. So that was not a short answer I gave you, was it?
No, but that's great. I love that. I love that there's a resource in your book.
Yeah, and join the group, and you can also always, we love to share and connect and give advices. So if you have any question, you can send them and we will answer in the group. And we do some live sessions about water and drowning preventions and stuff too.
Amazing. Wow. So if you want to, those links are below. And Maria, just thank you so much. It's been so great chatting with you. And I know that everybody listening is going to be so much better informed after today.
I hope so. I hope so. And the parents, they need to remember too, it's never too late to learn. So if they don't know how to swim yet, then they should know too.
Yeah, there's no time like the present.
Nope.
Thanks, Maria. I hope you enjoyed that interview, and I hope that you've taken away some points that can really help safeguard your family for the summer. Now, if you like today, we are doing a whole series over this month about movement, sports, play, movement for young children. So if you'd like to hear more about that, make sure to like and subscribe so you'll get regular updates on this series. I'll see you in the next video.